Our guest now is Harun Armagan, the Deputy Chair of Human Rights at the AK Party. Thank you so much for joining us on France24. How are you feeling this evening?
I feel very good. The results is very good. But let me start by congratulating and saying a big thank you to hundreds of thousands of AK Party members and volunteers who work day and night to make sure that Turkey continues on a trajectory of economic prosperity and innovation. And let me be very clear here. In the last 48 hours, the France24 peddling unfounded accusations that last year's referendum was fraudulent. The OECD election monitoring group have never made such allegations. And I have to be very clear that for the first time in my life, I have been invited to many TV channels, but I'm sorry to say this, but your correspondent is a shameless liar. And you as
Which correspondent is this?
Your Ankara correspondent is a shameless liar. And you as French state television, you need to apologize for this.
Well, there have been accusations of fraud, absolutely, at that time. Some people, in fact, are afraid of accusations of fraud this time around as well. There have been videos circulating on social media of ballot stuffing. There has been violence in some parts of the country in the east where 3 people were killed at a polling station. People are concerned about the possibility of fraud in this election.
Look, I would be happy to address those questions, but
please.
it's a shameless way. It's a shameless way that France24 is trying to influence Turkish elections. We are not in 1900s, and Turkey is not a colonial territory. We demand an official apology from France24. And to address your questions, there are irregularities in every elections, and there is an independent board which consists of members from all political parties to investigate all these accusations and investigate all these irregularities. We are very open and clear with that.
Right. Okay, well, we'll get back to that issue of fraud, but so far this evening, the AK Party is coming out on top, and as far as the preliminary results go, it looks like Erdogan might make it over 50%.
Right. The result is as we expected before the election, because we were on the ground on the days and we were seeing the polls. We know what we are saying to people and we see their reactions. We were sure that we would get in the first round, and President Erdogan is going to get it in the first round.
And what happens if he doesn't, though? What happens if at the end of the official round voting, the official results, excuse me, will there be a second round, maybe?
Obviously, the Constitution says if he doesn't, but the numbers, the realistic numbers now over almost 85%, it's certain that he will get that number.
That's right. Now, Erdogan is also, the AK Party in general, is also, of course, in Parliament that is going from 550 seats to 600, as we know, with the constitutional changes. How likely is it that the AK Party will become predominant in the Parliament as well?
We have the results show that we will have the majority in the parliament, and I don't think that's going to change after this result. And it's important to say that this result is no surprise for us, because AK Party is the only party that brought political stability, economic prosperity to this country, and people are simply giving their confidence to AK Party more and more.
That's right. Now, you as the Deputy Chairman of the Human Rights, I would be very interested in knowing what you say about these tens of thousands of people who have been fired from their jobs since the failed coup attempt in July 2016. How many people in Turkey have lost their jobs after that coup attempt? Can you tell us?
Look, it's very important to understand that Turkey has been going through a coup attempt. A radical group tried to overthrow an elected government.
Which radical group?
The radical group, the Gülenist radical group, there's a cult, tried to overthrow an elected government, which would not be acceptable in any Western democracy.
If you allow me to finish,
if you allow me to finish, this is very important to understand the process. All these processes are judicial processes, and they have its checks and balances. If one person disagrees with all these decisions, they can actually apply to Supreme Court, Constitutional Court, and also they can go to European Court of Human Rights. Because we are part of European Convention of Human Rights, all these decisions are binding for us. If you allow me to add this, we would be very happy that every decision is challenged by law, so no one's rights are violated.
Well, there are 50,000 people who are actually awaiting trial, in addition to those 150,000 people, around 40 to 60, it depends on the numbers, who have lost their jobs. But just if the Gulenists, as you say, were behind that failed coup attempt, then why go after journalists? Why go after university professors? Why go after other people who are not linked to that movement?
Like I said, this is a judicial process. We are not going after of anyone. This is a judicial process, and as in all democracies, judicial processes are independent. We have checks and balances in our country, like any other democracy has, and we are happy that these decisions are all will be challenged by law. I could agree that some of the process in the judiciary is slow. We would accept that, but no one would expect that a huge number of cases would be opening, and we can't create new members to judiciary. But I can assure you that as in Turkey, we have our checks and balances. We have coordinated work with European Court of Human Rights, and the decisions from that body are also binding for us. We are very clear and transparent that we don't want anyone's rights violated. This is why the rule of law is in Turkey.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. I'm so sorry that Harun Armagan, we don't have any more time. But in any case, thank you so much for joining us on France 24, and I wish you an excellent evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.